Welcome to the Open edX conference. I'm Stefania Trabucchi from Abstract Technology in Berlin. We are a service provider for Open edX. We offer the solution in Europe and in the world, let's say. I'm very happy to introduce Blindside. So tell something about who are you?
So hi, I'm Fred Dixon. I wear two hats. I'm the product manager of Big Blue Button. It's an open source virtual classroom that focuses on applied learning and feedback. And I'm also the CEO of Blindside Networks. And we are the company that provides hosting for Big Blue Button around the world. And we work with Abstract Technologies.
That's a good information. So one important things we have to say now. So the two pieces that bring together Open edX as Big Blue Button is open source. So we are open source oriented providers, and we use open source technology. We face it in the post-COVID moment, the challenge also to be asynchronous again, so to say, not only synchronous. The synchronous moments means that we need a solution that help us in this situation to handle classroom in general. What I want to ask you, Fred, is about Open edX integration to provide a solution for synchronous learning.
Sure, so if you think of the two modes of learning, there's asynchronous and synchronous. So Open edX is the asynchronous and Big Blue Button will be the synchronous. So together they cover both. And our focus has always been to try to make it possible for the teachers to meaningfully engage students for learning. And that's why we focus on education. So with Open edX, we have an LTI integration that you can embed us inside. And from that LTI integration, the teacher, the students can transition to the synchronous part, and then they transition back to the asynchronous part in edX.
And how do you think that we can, in Open edX, engage online the learners, the students, the users of this online platform?
Yeah, I think engagement and assessment are tied together. So think of it as a teacher, they don't just talk to the students and then really not pay attention to if the students are learning or not. You want that same type of feedback loop coming back in an online, in a synchronous class. So the way we work is that we try to make it possible for the teacher to meaningfully engage the students in applied learning activities. And so it's tied together. The activities give you analytics so that the teacher could use analytics, because you can't see 200 students in an online class, but you can see the results of 200 students doing an activity live in your class. And it's that analytics that guide you. Is the class learning what I'm doing? Are there particular groups that are struggling? Or maybe there are particular students that are struggling or doing really well. And you can give feedback in the moment to try to get that cycle where the student does something and they get reward or feedback to help them improve. So that's where the real learning occurs. Applied analytics let the teacher assess it in the moment, give students feedback, and students find value in the class. And the analytics is the key.
That's a really key sentence. So analytics is the key. So let's understand why is it the key and how we can help analytics in Open edX, and how can we use analytics in Big Blue Button. So how we can merge these engagement reading the analytics. Can you explain it a little bit more?
Stefan, it's a good question. So there's the analytics that are right now in Open edX, and we actually have analytics in the live class in Big Blue Button as well. We can tell the teacher who's attending my class, who's participating, and who's learning based on responses to polls. But if you think about it, this analytics is not joined together. If you think about what would the instructor or the educator would like to see is give me a holistic view, a unified view of the analytics of both the asynchronous and synchronous. So I think there's a huge potential to take the analytics that we've been creating inside of Big Blue Button, because we focus on teaching and learning. The purpose of a virtual class isn't to meet, it's actually to learn. And if we take that analytics and we bring it back into Open edX, then you can start to see these unified reports. So think of it like this. If you go from Open edX into a virtual class, there's information in Open edX that would be useful for the teacher, maybe letting the teacher know like how far each student is in the progress of the class. The teacher engages with the students, and that information or that analytics goes back. Later on, you could see a unified report, and you could see how students are doing both asynchronously and synchronously. And it also, I think, has an impact on retention as well. If the goal is to ensure students graduate or complete the Open edX course, then giving some part of that to be live, some part where you're collaborating with students, you're collaborating with peers, you paid to do an online course, and you can get value out of it by collaborating with others. We're humans, we need to work with other people. Even though we can learn by ourselves, it can be complemented. So our belief is that if you can provide opportunities for live engagement, make that engagement meaningful where the students come and they apply themselves with the teacher, with each other, they get feedback, they will be more likely they'll finish the class. So the retention rates should go higher with a bit more live engagement in a class. That's our belief.
Excellent, awesome. The last question, Fred, I do a step back regarding Open edX and BBlueButton. You mentioned before the LTI, so I want to make sure that Open edX is supporting BBlueButton. Can you explain it?
So the BBlueButton project actually has a couple of components to it. One is BBlueButton itself. The other one is we have built an LTI integration, and we've specifically been working with Abstract Technologies and others to make sure that it works really well with Open edX. So if you come to the BBlueButton project, bigbluebutton.org, you will find BBlueButton, you will find the LTI integration, you can set them both up, you will get the LTI consumer shared secret key, go into Open edX, you can apply it there, and you'll have a built-in virtual classroom. And what I talked about in terms of analytics, right now we have the analytics inside of BBlueButton, we have the analytics inside of Open edX. Our goal is to make these more unified. So our focus is to improve learning outcomes in the context of a class. Open edX provides that context, and we want to share that data back and forth. So you can try BBlueButton today with Open edX and the LTI. The pieces are all there. If something isn't working, you contact me. So Fred Dixon, you can find me at the project. But our goal is to make sure that it's seamless and that data is seamlessly shared as well. That's our vision.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm very proud that two big open source projects are getting together, Open edX and BBlueButton. Thank you, Fred. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefano.